want to live in a world where a heterosexual 35-year-old man can wear a dress and makeup and no one has anything to say.
He is enormously gifted, and if you don't believe him, he'll tell you himself very, very quickly. But he's also got an extraordinary work ethic, and he has done more than most people I know. But even I was a little surprised, Siv Ngesi, at the latest reinvention of somebody who's done a lot of reinvention throughout the remarkable career of yours. We met Sivanna, this brand new character. What was the inspiration in taking this step, having this new journey, and how difficult was it to step into a new set of high heels, so to speak?
Hey, what's up, Dan? First of all, before we even begin, I just want to say I love your work. I love your work ethic. You always talk about other people, and I think people give you enough credit for how incredible you are at your job and how effortlessly you do it. And I will out you and say there's a lot of charity work, but he refuses that anyone says anything about it. So we're watching, and I think you deserve a lot more credit than you get in the country. And I give you all the love and respect for all the work that you do, brother. Sivanna is just something I've always had inside me that I've always wanted to get involved in. I think a lot of people think that it's a work project. It's just a passion project. And I want to live in a world where a heterosexual 35-year-old man can wear a dress and makeup and no one has anything to say. We're not there just yet, but I'll be knocking on the door and shaking up tables to make sure that we live in a world that I can wear a dress and no one says anything about it. But she's been fun, and I've really loved the experience. And I really feel like the community, LGBTI plus community, definitely needs a lot more brands getting involved in supporting the pink dollar, as they call it. And I'm here to work as much as possible. A lot of people have had negative things to say, but it's definitely been more love than hate easily.
Tell me about some of those challenges, and I know you often revel in the challenges, and it brings the best out of you. The challenge, first of all, of creating an entirely new persona, not just a new character in a film, but this entirely new person you've given the world. And then also the challenge of the responses that you've got from people. Some have been overwhelmingly positive, but I know there have been people, and you've alluded to it, for whom the arrival of Sivanna has not been something they've met with joy in their steps.
What I've realized is that the people who have negative things to say are always the loudest. And it's literally been 2%. Really, 2%, and the 98% has definitely been love. I think, for me, I don't think people don't realize and understand that there's a process. And the process is we've gotten to the point where there's a big, big company and one of the biggest rugby teams, which is DHL Stormers, have actually said yes to a drag queen persona to talk about rugby. I've been speaking to people around the world who that has just never been done before. So for me, it's just been able to be part of the process of opening these doors and then making sure that other people come in with me. But for me, the hate has been very minuscule. And if you've watched, as you see behind me, I have Muhammad Ali and I have Nelson Mandela, two of my absolute heroes, and they could tell you if they were alive right now that if you want to change the world, you will honestly have the biggest backlash as much as possible. And I'm only getting a short piece of what these two heroes have gone through. So for me, this is nothing. This is water off a duck's back. It's easy.
In terms of that change, has anything changed about Siv? What have you learned from this experience? What have you learned about exploring this new character?
That's actually a great question because no one has asked me that. I think change is very important in anything, and Bright Rock talks about that all the time. But for me, I think, and you're going to get the big shock about this, but it's really helped my confidence to the next level. I think sometimes when you are in our industry, you have this a very conscious confidence. I've always had a conscious confidence of walking into a room and going, I'm who I am. I don't care what you think. But Sivanna has made it the next level of subconscious confidence. You know, there's something about being able to wear a dress and put makeup on that gives me a power that I don't understand. First of all, I don't know how women do it. It takes me 2.5 hours to put on my face and to put on clothing. So I give all the love and respect to every woman. But the change has been really, it's just, I've been on a mission to reinvent and rediscover what masculinity is to me. And I think being Sivanna has really just been able to redefine what masculinity is for me and find the power in vulnerability. Vulnerability is a superpower, and our sisters have so much of it, and I need to be able to find more of it. And Sivanna has helped me find that.
In watching this journey of yours, two particular things have spoken to me. One is the versatility of Siv Ngesi and how you've managed to explore this entirely new side of you. But it's also spoken to an entertainer who's had both some time, but also maybe some pressure on, well, what can I do to meet this new world that I'm part of, when so much of what you used to do, the stand-up comedy, the big events, have been set aside for a long period of time. How much has the pandemic been a catalyst for creating Sivanna, and how difficult has it been for you as a broader entertainer to deal with this last stretch?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people have thought that Sivanna is a financial and a business move. I think I've lost more people being with Sivanna than gained, but it's a long stretch. For me, I think Sivanna's bigger than me. I think Sivanna's journey is. It's not often that I say this, but this is not about Siv Ngesi at all. I think I'm lucky enough that I have a platform that I was able to put Sivanna on, but I definitely feel that Sivanna is the start of great things for the LGBT plus community in South Africa. I think the LGBT plus community has definitely not been getting the attention they deserve for the incredible things that they've done in the struggle in where South Africa is, in fashion, in liberation. A lot of stuff hasn't been told and spoken about. And I feel like I'm part of this journey, and I'm a small percentage of it. So whoever's watching this who thinks that Sivanna is a financial move, no, Siv Ngesi does not need Sivanna to survive in the industry. And if you are watching this and you think that it's a financial move, or that because lockdown was difficult, I am cocky enough to tell you that I have never worked so hard during lockdown. For me, COVID has been a financial blessing, and I know that's a difficult thing to say, but I've had work coming out my ears nonstop with or without Sivanna. And currently, Sivanna's only had one gig, and that's with Bright Rock. And I want to take a moment to say Bright Rock has taken a big risk, and it's paying off. One or two people have had negative things to say, but I really feel like the rugby world has taken Sivanna in. And for me to see DHL Stormers retweet and share a video of a drag queen speaking about rugby. One step closer. Big thank you to Bright Rock. That is a big move by you guys, and I'll never forget it.
Siv Ngesi changing the world and changing perceptions. And I think most importantly, Siv, starting conversations, which is something we need so much of here in South Africa. One final conversation, which I think is being had, but it's maybe one that needs a little bit more time, a little bit more effort from people in a position to have an impact. And that is entertainers as a whole. Not everybody has had the opportunities that you've been able to take advantage of. And look, you've made most of them for yourself. But there are a lot of guys in the entertainment world who've had a really tough time through no fault of their own. As somebody who's managed to get through this space, who is continually working, what do you see in the landscape broadly, entertainment-wise, going forward that has changed, that people can maybe try and adapt to come out of what's been such a rough time?
Ooh. Man, you've asked make the questions. I think the industry has definitely evolved, and I think you need to stay on your toes. I think first of all, if you have a cell phone, I think there's ways to make money from just being on a cell phone and be able to create content, social media. I think entertainers need to be able to learn how to put their content online. And I think the biggest mistake some entertainers have made is that a lot of entertainers thought they could just take their content and put it straight onto line. No, you have to be able to get it to 3 minutes, to 2 minutes, to 5 minutes. There needs to be a beginning, a middle, and an end. You need to invest in your content. When I say invest, I don't necessarily mean monetary value, but you put some thought into it and really be able to create authentic, vulnerable content that people can relate with. If you've seen, some of the biggest things have been people holding their cell phones and doing content and blogging. And I think people need to be able to challenge themselves. Unfortunately, in South Africa, you can't just be involved in one thing. You need to be as versatile as possible. And then the other thing, which is going to sound like the big contradiction, is to be able to find the power and know. being able to say no is one of the most powerful things you can ever do. And I think a lot of us South African people are struggling with that in the entertainment industry. And yeah, man, just take risks and be uncomfortable, because there's no growth in the comfort zone. And if I want to be able to say on this platform that if you do want to do things, you want to collaborate, you want to get advice, please drop me a message on Siv Ngesi on Instagram. I'm more than willing to have a meeting, a coffee, a Zoom call, a WhatsApp call to chat and help people through whoever need the help as possible. I've been lucky and blessed to be able to be in the position that I am. And I would love to share and be able to help other people get anywhere closer to their career as much as possible. So I'm open and willing to be able to engage to those who are willing to listen.
He is an award-winning actor, comedian, performer, film star, television star, drag artist, philanthropist, and he's on the other end of a phone if you need somebody to talk to late at night. Siv Ngesi, thanks for the inspiration. It's wonderful sharing your journey. And I think our only question is where to next, but I know we're going to find out pretty soon. Thanks for being with us.